Going on? Welcome to Beyond the Forecast. I'm here with meteorologist Don Slater. Don, we just had Hurricane Erin move pretty close by, just offshore yesterday. How was your time with the storm? Because I was in the Outer Banks. I'll tell everybody about that. But
I worked the end of last week and into the weekend.
Yes.
And there was some concern because the storm was lingering north of Puerto Rico and turned
Right.
into a Category 5 for a time. But it was lingering, and it looked like, oh, it's making the right turn. It's going to stand and see. Oh, no, it didn't.
Drifted.
Yeah, it will drift to the west-northwest. And then to the west, so it was a little bit nervous as to see when it was going to be drifting. But all along, we knew it was going to be a brush
yeah,
with a storm. But how close would it be? It was close enough to get our attention, certainly.
yeah, definitely.
With the tidal flooding and the high seas and the surf that we got out of all of this, but nonetheless, it was just kind of an exercise, really.
Right. It was kind of a let's put all of our hurricane preparedness stuff into motion.
Yeah.
As a test run.
Yes, knock knock. It's hurricane
Yeah.
season. Hello.
Just reminding, it's like a kind of like a fire drill
Yeah.
type of storm for us.
Yeah, it was. So, you know, lots of places got, of course, hit on the Outer Banks, and it was obviously the worst hit of our area on the Outer Banks. So, yeah, I guess it was more than a gentle tap on the shoulder saying, hey.
For some, it was definitely worse than others, especially for like Hatteras Island,
Yes.
for instance. They had the flooding in the streets because the ocean came over the dunes. Complete overwash in
Yeah.
some parts of NC-12, where I'm not sure, I actually haven't checked yet, but I don't know if it's still closed in some sections. It's probably still closed in a few areas.
Yeah. Now, hopefully they didn't get the water enough to go underneath the road and start undermining
Right.
the asphalt. One other thing too is when you look at the map for Hatteras, where it goes around, it's dropping to the map drops it to the southeast, and then at Cape Hatteras it goes to the southwest. Well, that area, Frisco and Hatteras Village and Buxton, are also very, very susceptible to sound side flooding.
Right.
So you end up with a north wind there, or northwest, and you end up with sound side flooding coming on to those areas.
And I'm sure, potentially some of those areas got it this past morning's high tide cycle because
Yeah.
the wind was so strong still out of the north and kind of northwest.
Yeah.
That sound side flooding, while it is likely isolated with this storm, definitely possible
Yeah.
in some spots. There's already a ton of water problems down there.
Yeah, the thing about it is too that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's interesting that the water levels come up, and it's not from rain. A lot of people think,
Right.
oh,
No.
yeah, it's not from rain at all.
Yeah.
It's from 1,000 miles or whatever, 800 miles of persistent wind, what we call
Yes.
a fetch.
Fetch.
In other words, a wind that continues in one direction for a very, very long distance. Well, it tends to push the water up. And you don't notice it at sea. At sea, there's
Right, because you have no vantage point, you have no way to tell.
yeah, and really, even then, they've measured with lasers and satellites to see what the rise in sea level is, and it's not very, very much.
Right.
But it's mass meeting mass, and that push of water finally runs into the coastline.
Right.
And boom, it starts having to rise.
And then you have that
up
surge.
over. And then you have that storm surge.
And then
that
tack
rise.
on top of it 10 to 15 foot waves.
Yes.
I guess I'll say from my experience, I was live down in Nags Head on Jeanette's Pier for the day yesterday, and easily not only some of the biggest waves I've seen in a couple months, but probably some of the biggest waves I had ever seen.
Yeah.
Breaking way out past the pier. I mean, I went to the end of it, and it was still like a full football field in length out that you'd have to go to reach the point where the waves started to break.
Yeah,
it was
and
that far out.
Yeah, and you wonder if there was, too, with that. Is there a sandbar out there? That's making a
Sandbars
break?
that only get noticed in the biggest of storms.
Yeah, and sandbars that may be here 1 month and then are gone the next.
Gone the next.
Or maybe this one created sandbars.
There was also a kind of a funny moment there. A lot of people were out at the end with us, and they were like, everybody was like, "Is that a person?" So like a little buoy way out in the distance. And it was just bobbing up, and everybody was like, "What in the world is that?"
Yeah.
Thankfully, not a person.
Yeah.
I remember 3.5 hours before high tide, the 7 o'clock last night, high tide even hit. The water was already kind of lapping up against the dunes.
Yeah.
So beach erosion, big problem with this storm. Tidal flooding, obviously, the bays and Chesapeake Bay, some of the rivers. We've been kind of dealing with that. It's not totally done just yet, but it's definitely not going to be nearly as bad as I would say. Last night's high tide was probably the peak of it. So that's good.
Yeah, and just to kind of give you a measure of the immenseness, if that's a word, of a situation like this, is that the tide will now take several days to drop on down.
It's not going to happen instantly.
Yeah. So it'll be a while, and streets where you do have water coming up out of the storm sewers, and you're close enough to sea level there, and you're close enough to the water. It'll come up out of the storm sewers and still flood some of those streets.
Yeah.
Really tonight, and then again tomorrow morning and on into tomorrow evening. But then I think they should settle on down. It'll be nuisance tidal flooding for the most part coming up in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Totally. And like I said, it's something where it's a slow progression going down.
Yeah.
Erin is still off the coast. It's moving quickly northeast.
Still looks kind of healthy.
It does look pretty healthy for a system so far northeast now.
Yeah.
Moving east-northeast at 28, so it's booking it out of here. Winds are still at 90 miles per hour. Here's the really interesting thing. By the way, the surf is still up. That's good news for ECSC. They've been running heats all day today. The wind is a little bit funky. It's a little bit north, so it's choppy, but at least they have some kind of, at least some size to kind of work with. So we'll take you through. Here with the cone. It's going to become extra tropical. As it kind of merges with the jet stream as it moves north. But look at this. Winds are still Cat 1 hurricane level through the weekend, and the National Hurricane Center says, hey, this might actually go down a little bit Saturday, bump back up again on Sunday. The Gulf Stream kind of flowing up that way, maybe has a little bit of say in that. But look at this, Wednesday at noon, it's tropical storm strength when it approaches Ireland and Europe.
Yeah, but they're on the right side of the storm too.
Yeah,
on the east side of the storm, which is the worst part of the storm. Even though with this cone, it doesn't look like it'll hit.
Right.
But nonetheless,
still some nasty weather. A big storm coming their way.
And some wind.
Either way. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll be dealing with that. Here's the look at what I think this is Virginia Beach or Nags Head. No, this is Virginia Beach.
Yeah, it is Virginia Beach.
Yeah, the title is just not changed. That's on me. But you can see there is some waves out there. A lot of white water. They are letting people back in the water, too. That's another thing. Not very far, because the rip current risk is still going to be high today.
Yeah.
And likely through the weekend as well. I think maybe early this next week, it may come down a little bit. So just kind of hold on tight here if you're a swimmer and trying to get some swimming in. We'll be right back after the break. We'll kind of go into more of the tidal stuff coming up. So we'll be right back. Alrighty, we're back, and we're continuing to talk a little bit about the tides here, because I think the biggest thing probably in the next maybe 12 hours or so is going to be a little bit of nuisance flooding, maybe for the south side.
Yeah, that's
maybe
about it.
low-lying spots, Outer Banks. The swell is still up, so maybe a little bit more beach erosion for some of the dune systems and whatnot. But I want to quickly talk about kind of the reason why we could still be seeing a little bit of this kind of nuisance flooding around the area. And it's all because the storm is still offshore, so it's still kind of pushing water in our direction. The wind is still north and kind of northeasterly, so over the next little bit, it's kind of pushing down the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
A little bit. So we'll see that kind of continue overnight. The wind will eventually turn more easterly, so that'll become, more of a beach erosion problem. And maybe for the peninsula beach, like Buckrow Beach, for example, maybe a little bit of erosion there. But I think maybe like the Lynnhaven Inlet, which has been having a little bit of problems with last night's high tide cycle. I don't think once this wind turns east, that should shut them off from that.
Yeah. There's also just the effect where the entire Chesapeake Bay basin and the Mid Atlantic
kind of sloshes back and
right? and it's just up. This massive amount of water is just up in the first place.
Yeah.
And the northeast wind certainly doesn't help, or the easterly wind
keeps it all pushed up against the south side right now.
Yeah. But it's just up everywhere, and it's even into the northern bay.
Still some problems.
There's still some problems there. So it's just the massiveness of this rise in water level is felt with it. It just keeps up, and even if there were a southerly wind now, it would still be up, and
because
and
it
then
takes time
down.
to slosh back. So it's like the ocean always wants to return to that equilibrium, that equal state, but it takes time. It's going to go one way and then the other way, like a pendulum swing. It is eventually going to turn more southeasterly coming up Saturday, later in the day Saturday, and actually gets kind of gusty, maybe gusts to near 20 miles per hour. Sunday, same deal around out of the south. So we switch that wind direction. It will get a little bit more humid with some little chances for rain Sunday, but it won't be a washout. Here's the next couple of, I guess, kind of tide cycles. So it's minor flooding possibly for some areas with the tonight, yeah. But then after that, nuisance, yeah. They call it the action stage. Essentially just nuisance flooding. We'll break it down a little bit further. Lynnhaven Inlet, we're talking, tonight, that should say 9 p.m. for the Lynnhaven Inlet. 5.1, that's in that their moderate kind of category. So it depends on the location, what kind of threshold you meet to get those different levels. So we'll be at moderate tonight for Lynnhaven Inlet. Then we'll be at the action stage for pretty much the peninsula, for the Eastern Shore locations Saturday morning.
Yeah,
so
still minor at Yorktown. So the peninsula, you can see the water coming on up into streets, etc., coming on up there. So one thing to note, we talked about how this is a kind of a good knock on the door and say, hello, it's the hurricane season. Pre-season preparation.
Right.
Yeah, kind of say, oh, yeah, I need to do this. What should I be? And at least be thinking about what you would do in terms of having medications, having stuff for your pet. I was just looking as we were going on the air. I was looking at my phone. I was looking at how to get to know your zone. And really all you have to do is just type in the search term WAVY, know your zone.
Yes.
And so if you are evacuated, if you're in a zone that is going to be evacuate. Yeah. Make plans on that. Yeah. But that would be close to the water or a tributary of the Chesapeake Bay or off the Atlantic where the water's going to come up. But if you're not told to evacuate, do not evacuate in a situation, because you want to be home to protect your property.
Of course.
And you don't want to be out on the road. I remember during Isabel, which is our biggest one of the past, how many years. Lots of people evacuated that didn't have to evacuate. For example,
kind of filled up the roads too. It made
Exactly.
for slower going for people who did need to get out.
Yeah, and then once the storm starts hitting, they're stuck on the road,
Right.
Or they couldn't find a place to stay,
Mm-hmm.
and so they're riding out the storm in in a parking lot somewhere, and the rain and wind, and there wasn't a lot of rain with that storm, but the wind, but it was in the middle of a storm. And you're stuck in your car. You don't want to be that way. So if you don't have to evacuate, don't. But if you do have to evacuate, advise to evacuate, do so.
And again, you can go to WAVY.com to find all the stuff on the Know Your Zone.
Yep.
And the next time, a hurricane does approach, make sure you're keeping up to date with that. Again,
Yep.
this was kind of like our fire drill storm.
Yeah.
Making sure that you have all the things that you need, knowing where to go if you were told to evacuate. Things like that, important to kind of keep in mind. Joey Lee on Facebook checking in today. It's a beautiful day outside. Good day to go out and clean the yard. Today's a good day to clean the yard. Today's a great day to be outside in general.
Yeah, it is. I was out
Northerly
walking the
breeze,
dog
not too, really not much humidity.
No,
It
not
feels
much.
great.
Yeah, it feels great. The temperature's not bad, and nice breeze if it does get a little bit warm in the sunshine,
Right.
and out of the wind. So a great day to be. Yeah, and there was enough. So especially if you get pine trees, you get pine straw, pine needles all over the place.
Clean it all up.
Yeah. So good day to be outside and do some work outside.
Doing whatever. All right, we'll get into the tropics here. We are watching a couple areas over the next few days for possible development. The one north of the Lesser Antilles probably has the best chance, but even then, I was kind of looking at the longer range models. Pulls it towards Bermuda. It's pretty weak. It's around 995 at the lowest for the millibars, so that's weak tropical storm. The biggest impact I could see from that, if it does actually happen to form a center of low pressure and it has a big enough wind field, maybe we could get another pulse of swell later next week from it.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I'm not expecting anything huge with that kind of red X area. The orange one, same deal. It's not really going to amount to much. At least the last couple of runs I've been kind of looking at here.
I have too, and it just kind of
Not impressive.
It just kind of fizzles out toward the Caribbean.
Yeah, so here's the GFS. So this one kind of see that first area north of the Lesser Antilles. See how it kind of wants to close something off near Bermuda. It's just not. It's not nearly what Erin is. Obviously, you can see the difference, the big difference there. And then, where even is that low? That little bit of moisture now towards the Lesser Antilles, the Windward Islands, going into early Monday from that one in the main development region. But otherwise, it kind of just fizzles. It's kind of just a wave of moisture.
Yeah, and you see virtually nothing out of the one to the south. It just you can see a little bit of development there toward the Lesser Antilles,
right there, and that's about as big as it gets for the GFS model.
Yeah, and I looked at the Euro too, and it's very, very similar. It's maybe
they're in good agreement.
Strong. Yeah, they're in real good agreement, which is kind of different. But by the way, the GFS tends to make things a little bit stronger.
A little bit.
So the one that you were looking at there off Bermuda, it's kind of like
It's kind of hardly anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's again, if it gets anything, it's probably going to be a tropical storm. Not lasting long, low impact. I think the bigger threat for any storm close by will be from these fronts. This front that kind of moves through on Monday. That's the best chance for rain.
Well, the thing about it, too, is look at how things are carved out.
Yeah.
All the way from Colorado and Kansas, kind of an arc that you can see.
Yeah, that's a front.
That's the front that's coming on through. And that's also very, very much protecting us from any kind of tropical
Keeping
concern.
everything away.
And that doesn't look like it'll change.
Right. We have a kind of a trough that's going to settle into the eastern third of the country coming up next week, and it actually keeps us cool, fall-like. Dare I say it, fall-like.
But it also keeps everything away.
Yes.
So the
it
upper level
shields us.
pattern, it'll tend to fall apart a little bit, but then it builds back on up again by the end of next week, or I think it's the end of next week, where it lives northward, but there's another one that follows it right on in the long run.
Coming up next, we'll have a little bit on your local forecast, kind of taking you through the weekend. So stick around. All right, we're back, and we're going to go a little bit into your local forecast now. So, Erin's moving away. We're going to get a pretty nice weekend on our hands. Maybe a little bit of rain on Sunday, but mainly for North Carolina, and even then, it's going to be pretty light. Not so big impact type of deal.
No, not at all.
Speaking of we're going to break down each kind of zone here. We'll start with the Eastern Shore. I'm not expecting much going through the day. Really through the overnight. Should stay pretty clear. Tomorrow, a few clouds kind of drifting through. Not much. Maybe more in the afternoon, evening. As winds start to turn more southerly, we're going to see a little bit of an increase in the humidity, and that's kind of a sign that we could see a little bit of rainfall. There's going to be a low that kind of moves up through the area and throws the area a few showers. So mainly for the Eastern Shore, I'm expecting things to kind of stay dry even through Sunday. This storm's really not going to get really lift.
Is that the cold front right there?
This is the front moving through into Monday especially. So you see this you see kind of how the clouds are kind of moving southwest to northeast here. That's out ahead of the front. When we get up to Monday, more of a western or a northwest to southeast direction. That's the front. That's going to bring in some cooler air coming up for the next upcoming work week. We're talking lows in the 60s, maybe even 50s for some spots. I'm excited for that. I love fall. So we were
keep
just talking
the
about
windows open at night if you can.
Yeah, we were just talking about this. Don and I's both favorite season. Definitely the fall.
Yeah.
Definitely the fall. For the peninsula, really same deal. We're not going to be expecting a whole lot of a change in our forecast. Again, clouds fill in Saturday afternoon, evening. Wind switches out of the south. Humidity comes up. And then as we go through your Sunday, kind of in and out of the clouds, maybe a little bit of a better chance for a sprinkle on Sunday. But again, if anything, it's not going to be a whole lot.
No, just tiny little areas that'll pop up if they do indeed pop up.
Light rain. They rain themselves out, and that's about it. Cold front moves through on Monday. And again, that switches our air mass up big time. We're going to be dealing with a good amount of coolness. I'm going to call it coolness. The south side.
That's me.
Coolness?
Yeah.
Don Slater, Mr. Coolness. South side, same deal. Tonight, you're killing yourself over there.
Yeah.
Saturday morning, I think actually overnight's just clear as can be. So the temperature may actually be able to fall a little bit further than some of the models are saying it. A lot of the models going kind of upper 60s. I think maybe mid 60s, maybe some low 60s.
Especially inland.
Inland, away from the water, will likely get maybe mid to low 60s.
It's kind of cool, that little stripe of clouds moving through.
Yeah, there you go.
That's just the upper wind flow. That's flipping on northward through the area. Probably just a few cirrus clouds, high clouds.
Yeah, it's going to be high clouds. Yeah. That's nothing much. It's again later in the day, Saturday into the evening, where maybe it's filtered out the sky here and there. But again, not much rain. As we go into Sunday, kind of midday time frame, though, watch out for maybe a little sprinkle, but should clear out by the late afternoon, evening, and then we're clear overnight as the front again moves through. That's really the trend here. We're just going to be seeing a little bit of cloud cover this weekend. Maybe a quick hitting shower on Sunday, and that's about it. North Carolina, this is where I think the bulk of the rainfall kind of occurs. Here's through, this is noon on Saturday. The clouds will start to fill in from southwest to northeast, but not much rainfall on Saturday. It's more so Sunday. It kind of comes in. Could be some heavy pockets of rain for maybe a few, especially the Outer Banks as that low kind of gets going and pushes its way offshore. So, watch out. Hatteras, Ocracoke, a couple of rain showers, maybe a quick rumble of thunder. Can't rule that out sometime during the morning hours Sunday, but even continuing on during the afternoon. As the front pushes through on Monday, see those clouds off towards I-95? That's that front. It pushes all the moisture away coming up for Monday. So Monday looking like a drier day as we kind of get some of that moisture out of there. So that's the good news, and it makes way for, again, a nice cool week ahead. So I think I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. And we've had some unusually cool weather lately. This is going to be unusually cooler, especially at night with the drier air moving on through, and it's going to hang on
for a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to hang on through next week.
We could see. I was looking at some the longer range pattern, and there's a chance that this sticks around for it's the 22nd, pretty much the end of the month.
Yeah,
and into September.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Yeah, but as we mentioned earlier, that whole weather pattern is such that it keeps everything away in terms of tropical stuff.
Tropical stuff is totally not even in the picture for the next 7, and maybe even next 10 days.
Yeah, either way out to sea or the Caribbean,
or to the south,
or Caribbean, or maybe Gulf of Mexico. They're kind of open to things, but for the East Coast, no, it doesn't look like it. Everything is kept away.
And so that's of course what we want to see. As a surfer, we hope it stays offshore. We also hope we have offshore winds. We have clean conditions and waves, but no impacts. So that's the main takeaway that I've got there.
Yeah, I think we'll see, but regardless of that, I think we'll see more of a northeasterly wind anyway.
Yeah,
with this kind
of system. So we'll see. Maybe some chop in the ocean, but again, we're keeping the tropical activity away from us after Erin, at least for now. So we will. That's our little buzzer there to start wrapping up. So coming up tomorrow, we'll tomorrow's Saturday.
Yeah.
So we'll see you all back on Monday for more Beyond the Forecast, and next week looking like a much cooler week ahead. So I'm excited. Don's excited. Hopefully everybody's
excited. You should be excited too.
Yes. So we will be back on Monday, 3 o'clock for Beyond the Forecast. Take care, everybody.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.